Thank you so much, Dina, for that intro. And I have a 3-year-old, so I'm just picturing what that must have been like for your family to be diagnosed so young. And I'm glad that there are places like this where we can all come and gather. Um, but I have a PowerPoint, so I'm going to just get my screen shared. Can everyone see it okay? I hear nothing, so I'm guessing it's fine.
It looks good. Yeah, it just, yeah.
Let me just slideshow. There we go. So creative writing workshop with me. I assume you know that that's what you're coming to. But the first thing I want to know is, who are you? So maybe put in the chat or even unmute yourself and just say, are you living with migraine? Are you living with another headache condition? Or are you a caregiver or a support person to someone? I'd love to just know more about you. So Dina, if you see people in the chat, if you don't mind reading what.
Jamie just posted. Jamie lives with chronic intractable migraine and post-traumatic headache. Okay. Megan lives with chronic migraine. Katie M. There's 2 Katie M's. Katie Mack lives with chronic migraine. Sarah also lives with chronic migraine. Me, I also live with chronic migraine.
Chronic migraine is so fun.
So does Allison. And Nicole, since she was 16.
Okay.
Christy also lives with chronic migraine.
Okay. So it sounds like a lot of people have the disease rather than our support people to the migraine. Okay. So thank you for sharing. That's just really helpful for me to know where you're coming from. It sounds like we're all really coming from the same place. And I think everyone can appreciate this. This is something migraine.com put out. A community member said it is frustrating that I cannot explain to people what it feels like. And that's really what we've gathered here today to do, is to use creativity to express what our experience feels like. And I want this session to be as interactive as you want it to be. So, you know, if you're not feeling well and you just kind of want to observe, or if you're watching the recording in the future, you know, that's totally fine. You can keep your screen and mic off and you can just watch. But if you're really feeling up to it, we're going to do some writing. I'm going to invite people to comment on some things we're going to read together. So please do, just at any point, like if it's, you know, if we're in a discussion part, feel free to unmute and add to the discussion, or raise your hand, or, you know, whatever you're most comfortable with. So first, I looked all over the internet and there's so much beautiful and heart-wrenching writing on the migraine experience. I wanted to start with a few short pieces that we could read, and then we're going to do a writing prompt. So I'm wondering if anyone wants to volunteer to read the first one, which I found from brainlessblogger.net, which has a lot of great stuff on it. Anyone just go ahead and
read.
Okay.
Yeah. You want someone to read it out loud? Okay.
Yeah.
I tried ice and everything nice. I tried magnesium oil and a hat of aluminum foil. I tried every supplement known to man and an internet cure recommended by Stan. I tried butterbur, thanks for the heart murmur. I mindfully meditated and nothing eradicated. This migraine is here to stay. No, I can't go out and play. Here is in my cave, I'll hide. I love you, darkness. I sighed. Covers pulled over my head. Until this is over, I'm in bed.
Thank you, Katie. And this is from a book that if you have not read, I highly recommend it. I read it mostly through audiobook during a migraine when I first was diagnosed, and it really was like a lifeline to someone who really understood the experience of waking up day after day. But I really liked how this writer expressed it in a really unique way, and I'm wondering if someone would mind reading it.
I can read it. This is Megan.
Thanks, Megan.
But it's not so much a headache as possession, my head an occupied territory, and my normal self a disenfranchised native populace driven underground.
Thank you. And then this one, I don't think anyone really needs to read it because it's very quick, but it's like a text message from your migraine. Hey, was that wine worth it? Wait, let's find out together. I don't know about you, but the wine's never worth it for me. So what I want us to do is to take from some of that inspiration and the different way that migraine was talked about and do one of these two prompts. So the first is, what would you tell your migraine or headache disorder if you could talk to it? And then the second is, what would your migraine or headache disorder tell you if it could talk to you? So whichever one, I guess, speaks to you the most. And I'm gonna, set a timer for about 5 minutes and check in and see if people have had enough time to write. You can just grab a notebook or use your computer or your phone or whatever you want to do. And if at 5 minutes people are still kind of in the zone, I'll put it, for another 5 minutes. So I'm going to write as well. So feel free to just mute yourself and turn off your screen and just go into the writing zone. I should say, if you have any questions, put them in chat. I'll keep the chat up. I just hear someone typing, so if you can make sure you're on mute. It's been about 5 minutes. Being that everyone's screens are off, I'm guessing everyone's still deep in it, so I'll give it another 5 minutes. Got about 1 minute, so wrap up the thought you're on. All right. Everyone could come back. Is everyone still in the zone? All right, I see some people popping back. I know 10 minutes isn't very long, but yeah, it's the time we got tonight. But when I ever do these prompts, when I'm in a class myself or writing at home, what I usually find is that I need to just cross out the first paragraph because it's like warming up and getting your brain going. So, or even like the first 10 minutes sometimes. So if you feel like you just started to get somewhere, that's totally normal. I forgot to ask what people's writing background is, but maybe we'll have a chance to go over that in the discussion part. But what I really love, and I have a silly graphic for it, is for people to share even a few words of what you wrote or the whole thing. I'd really love for us to have a chance to open up and share.
I'll go. I'll
Thanks.
break the ice.
Our wonderful host.
I know you're. Oh, I picked prompt 2. By the
Okay.
way, what would your migraine disorder tell you if it could talk to you?
Mhm.
I know you're grieving the girl you once were, the one that would dance in the rain, eat salami sandwiches all day, soak in the sun, the one that loved to run. But do not grieve the past, the person you once were. You did not choose me, I chose you. Look how far you have come. When the pain was and is high, you chose and choose to fight. We have grown stronger together the past 22 years. I have caused you many tears and sleepless nights, but I've been your biggest gift. Because of me, you are strong, courageous, brave, and caring. You have learned to live life to the fullest with me. You may not be able to eat salami sandwiches or dance in the rain without a visit from me, but you have found joy elsewhere. Our journey has been long, but I chose you for a reason. Keep living life. Don't grieve the old you, but rather cheer the new version of you on. Keep fighting, migraine warrior. I'm your biggest cheerleader.
Your migraine is so nice to you.
I choose to think of it as a friend versus an enemy.
I love that. I love that. Does anyone else relate? Just do this. Man, my migraine is really mean, but we'll get to me if we have time. But I want to know if anyone else wants to share.
I'll share. I don't have a formal writing background at all.
That's
So, and I just wrote, I did prompt 1 and my migraine is not nice. Here's what, and I don't have love for it either. Okay, I wrote, Dear Migraine, you are all encompassing with your pain and nausea and symptoms that you strangle me with. I hate you, but you don't care. I hate you, but you grab a hold tighter. You are a life-altering beast. You make me miss out on everything I love. You've taken friends and activities. You steal the light, the fun, and the happiness from my life. I fight you tooth and nail, but you won't release your grip on me. Your love for me is as great as my hatred for you. Release me.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm like, that really hit me. It's beautiful, Christy. Just I think the thing about migraine is it can have that duality to it where, you know, you can look at it in like Dina's poem where, you know, I truly have felt in my life that there are things positive that I've gotten out of being a person with migraine, but then Christy, there are those days where I hate you. Yeah, that's all you can think. Thank you for sharing. I'd love to hear maybe 2 more people before we go on to the next section.
I really don't want to share mine, but I just wanted to comment on Christie's, like, just start out by saying that you're not a writer and then like have us all crying after 10 minutes of writing is like pretty powerful. So I just want to say that like, that was really moving and like, thank you for sharing that with us.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it.
I'll share. I'm Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
I have my video off because I'm in the hospital.
Okay.
In the hospital for migraine. I did the second one.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to tell you, I'm sorry. The migraine. I would like to tell you I'm sorry. Sorry for the devastation I have caused you, your family, career, and overall well-being. But I have shown you that you are beyond extremely strong, loving, nurturing, and all around awesome. You have a special silver lining and path which has been selected for you because of the person you are due to me. The signs and symptoms of me are excruciating, I know. I wish that I had a huge magic wand. Having the signs and symptoms seem like being bullied. And I know and wish I could be better.
I love how your migraine is admitting its faults.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kelly, thank you so much for sharing. And
Oh,
also,
you're welcome.
I hope you feel better.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you for coming, even from the hospital. That's
I wouldn't miss a need to support Katie and Wireless for Migraine.
yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone else want to share either a comment or your own piece of writing?
I love it. You're here, Kelly.
I'll share. Hi guys. I did the first prompt and I'm in a little bit of a weird place with migraine right now, so I'm not feeling super accepting. I wrote, "Dear migraine, you're a thief. You stole my evenings at concerts, my nights flirting with cute boys, my trips to the beach, my plans to travel the world, my holidays with family, my weekends surrounded by books, my career, my friends, my home, my life. You're a saboteur. You turned my own body against me, plied me with agony and illness until I no longer recognized myself. Everything is different now. I'm still here after the fire, but like wood turned to ash, I can never return to my former state of being. What did I ever do to you?
You guys are making me cry. Thank you so much, Sarah. Who can relate to that? All of us, right?
These are so good. I don't want to read mine, but I did write it. I did number 2 and I wrote it. Honestly, when I read it, it sounds like an abusive boyfriend.
Who's talking? I'm trying to find you.
Oh, it's Megan. Sorry. I have my camera off because I'm a mess.
That's fine. I'll look at your name with a little and just picture not a mess.
But it's very similar to what some people have written. It's from my migraine. It's very nasty and abusive.
Yeah, mine, I don't want to read it because I really want to give other people time to share at the moment, but mine is similar where my migraine literally like broke down a door that I had like boarded up with nails and then said, good, now you can step on the nails. So yeah, I feel you, Megan. Okay, so we're gonna move on and I know migraine brings me to an emotional place, so let's read some other people's words. Is anyone up to reading this poem?
I can read.
Oh, go ahead. Go, Katie.
Okay. I tried to paint a picture of how I really feel, but I could not find the colors to make it all seem real. Not one color was hot enough to show the burning pain. Not one color bright enough to make me wince again. Not one was dark enough to show the isolation. In the end, saw one thin line, worn, frayed, and almost broke. To my mind, that one thin line is a single thread of hope.
Thank you, Kate. I love the imagery in this one. That's why I chose it. I think the thing about writing in general that you can do is really paint a scene that can be a metaphor for how you're feeling. Who wants to read this? I have no idea what this is from. This is a blurry thing I found on the internet of a page of a book that seems to be describing someone who's experiencing a migraine attack. I didn't know if someone wanted to read this one. I'll read it. She wanted her room. She got up the stairs, found her key, then just leaned back against the door when she was inside. Once she checked the locks twice, taken her medication, she curled on the bed, fully dressed, still wearing her boots and sunglasses. And closing her eyes, she gave into the exhaustion of pretending to be normal. And it's that last sentence that really got me. And then this, spoiler alert, is actually one of the next prompts. Describe a migraine without using the word pain. And I've noticed in the migraine community when I first joined that the word pain was thrown about a lot. And don't get me wrong, when I have a migraine, you know, pain is a big part of it, but it also feels like it can be overused sometimes in describing it. And I put this prompt out on the internet to like a Facebook group I was part of, and this is someone's response. I thought it might be inspiring to people who would like to read this one.
I can read it. This is Megan. Jackhammer, piercing, penetrating, and squeezing. Half of my skull as if being held in a vice while something twists in my eye socket, and half of my face contorts with spasmodic rhythm to the beating of my heart. And every beat increases in volume while my world and stomach starts to spin uncontrollably.
Thank you, Megan. Okay, so prompt one was, like your relationship with your migraine, and prompt two is, whatever you end up doing is great, but like in my mind, I was trying to get you to think about it like in an unusual way. So first, is to describe your symptoms or experience without using the word pain. And the second choice would be describe your symptoms and experiences if they're a vehicle that you were riding in. I think we have time to do a full 10 minutes. Did that feel comfortable to everyone? Okay, great. About 5 minutes left. About 1 minute, so good time to wrap up your thought. Okay, take a minute to, a second to finish up, and when I see some faces come back, we can share. We got two people back. For those who are back and waiting, anyone else on the East Coast? Yeah, so it's getting late for us, right?
It feels like 11 p.m.
Well, because of the time change too. Did anyone else have I mean, a lot of people on this call are chronic, so migraines happen anyway, but did anyone else have the time change migraine yesterday? Because I definitely did. All right, I think my screen isn't showing there's a lot of faces back. Okay, great. So does anyone want to share either their writing or even just how it felt to write? We definitely have time for, a good amount of people to share.
I don't want to read mine right now, but I really enjoy this. Like, I feel like I want to keep working on it after tonight, because it's like kind of gets you thinking creatively, and I've got some thoughts down, but I don't feel like it's worded right yet. So work in progress, but thank you. This is really fun.
That's great, Katie. I honestly feel the same way, that some of what I wrote tonight is a work in progress. So there's only so much you can do in 10 minutes. Sometimes you just hit it where it just flows right out, and that's exactly what you want. And other times you need to retool it.
Lisa, this is Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
I'm not ready to read mine because I have a lot of words from being in the hospital.
Yeah.
But I, like Katie said, it's a work in process, and I truly appreciate this opportunity. I found it great to think outside the box of using the word pain.
Good.
But that was very interesting and compelling.
I'm glad. I challenge everyone too to think about it when they're talking about their experience to their doctor as well. Instead of saying, I found that it can be more powerful, instead of saying, oh, it's an 8 out of 10 pain, saying what you couldn't do because of the pain, or what you were doing because of the, how it affected you. Thank you for coming, Kelly, even from the hospital. And
oh, no problem. I enjoyed the exercise.
I'm going to put my email in the chat at the end for
great.
Anyone who wants to share what they wrote with me, either just to share, or I can forward it to Miles for Migraine to put out on their social media if that's something you wanted to. So there'll be other opportunities to share.
Mine are just mainly bullet points and thoughts right now. I was doing prompt 1. So what I have. Sorry.
Oh, can you come back in like 5 minutes? Thank you.
Okay.
So what I have. I'm sorry.
All right. Thanks, Christy. Go ahead. Christy?
Okay, my screen keeps freezing, so.
Oh, okay. I thought you
Um,
froze.
It says my internet connection is unstable. Okay, so I wrote a dagger through my eye, another dagger through the back of my skull, blinding me. The room is spinning and I can't stop the nausea from rising up from my belly and bursting out of my mouth, crying out for relief. Now I can't open my right eye, face is drooping, arm and leg are heavy and weak at the same time. Is it a stroke this time? Ears are ringing so loud that I can't hear anything else. Light stabs me. I recoil. Words won't come. More stabbing. Don't cry. Darkness and ice are what I seek to control this migraine. Get to bed and don't move. That's what I have so far.
Yeah. I feel it. Someone in the chat said they have hemiplegic migraine. Was that you, Christy? No, okay. Because the line that got me the most was, is this a stroke this time? Which,
Yeah.
like, to that level, there's always that worry, which is part of the anxiety of it. So that really illustrated that anxiety. Would anyone else like to share?
I'll share. It's Sarah.
Hey, Sarah.
I did the first prompt too, and I honestly kind of was not sure if I did it right because it was so different from the example you gave. But I sort of just started thinking about kind of what I have been experiencing lately. And how I have been trying to explain it to other people in my life lately.
Yeah.
So I wrote, migraine involves a sudden avalanche of symptoms. First, the sensitivity to light and sound, then the churning stomach, followed by the roaring onset of what some call a headache, but what actually feels like the simultaneous slow crushing of my skull, the beating of my crown with a hammer, and a spike being driven into my eye. The symphony of my nervous system continues to devolve into chaos as the vertigo arrives. Then Alice in Wonderland with her disorientation and distorted perception of size and space. I begin to lose my words, sometimes have trouble understanding what I'm hearing. Wah, 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 wah. It reminds me of Charlie Brown's teacher, but isn't nearly as amusing in the moment. I'm a prisoner in my body, unable to communicate that I'm in full neurological meltdown. No one notices. I look exactly like I did 5 minutes ago.
It's very powerful. And I don't know if you did this consciously, but what I really liked about that is you put, it almost felt like a medical description of migraine, but like the true one rather than like the boring textbook, you must have 2 of the 3, and it read like that, but as a parody, but as like the true version, if that makes sense.
It does. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing. So we have another minute or two before I need to wrap up for the Q&A. So did anyone else want to share? That's totally fine. I'll read one of mine. I did the number 2, the vehicle. I actually, as a tip to anyone who wants to keep writing, I found this I Googled different prompts. You can just Google writing prompts and things come up, and I retooled it for this, but I did find a prompt that was similar to this, not related to migraine. It gets me where I'm going, even if it's old, broken down and rusted. On the outside, it looks shiny, new even. but the workings of the engine clink and rattle, sputter and stop, only to start up again in a frantic frenzy to race to my next destination. For a time, it seems fine. The road is clear. The controls are in the right gear. Then maybe it was the weather or a bad tire. But I swerve and turn and bump and roll. I've lost control again. And I want to just let go. But the only way is to stay steady to get back on the road. Oh, I forgot the picture that we're supposed to share. Yes. So to wrap this up, I wanted to share just a few really quick resources that have helped me. And then if you have any resources for writing, this is mainly for writing, that you want to share, you can put them in the chat because I certainly don't know everything. Well, first, this is a guide that the Coalition for Headache and Migraine Patients put out. So even if you lose this, or you could screenshot it if you want, but it's also on their website. And I didn't want to share this at the beginning because I think when you're doing creative writing, you don't want to think about like the rules for how I should say something or anything like that. But I find this guide helpful in just reframing how we talk about migraine. And it's mainly to combat stigma. So I definitely recommend taking a look at this, and especially when you're talking about someone else with migraine, thinking about this language. I think when you're describing your own experience, you need to use whatever words are true to you. But I tend to follow this guide as much as possible. Then for general writing, The Elements of Style is a really classic book, but it's really great if you're feeling rusty on grammar and you just need something to look through to kind of figure out, how do I put a comma here, or what's the proper way to say this. And then the next book, Stephen King's On Writing, it's half memoir and half basically how to write. And it's very inspiring, and he gets into like the nuts and bolts of how to set up a writing practice, and even like how to create a compelling character. And it's not just about fiction writing and horror writing, which I have to admit, I haven't even really read his other stuff, but I really like this book. And then if you ever wanted to, oh, I clicked wrong. If you wanted to get more info on starting your own blog, if that ever calls you, this is a really good article, and the link is below. And then we can do the discussion, any questions, or if someone didn't get around to sharing who wants to share, just open it up, feel free to unmute yourself. I see some comments. I don't know which ones it was in response to now, but someone said that was very moving and incredible. I would say that for any of them. And both were so great, honest, and open. So I don't, maybe people want to talk about how it felt to just write in this way.
I thought this was really helpful. I'm in a weird place with my migraine, kind of hate love, strong hate and strong love relationship. And it's hard to talk about it. It's hard to tell someone the emotional drain of having migraine. So I found that this session was really helpful to write how we feel about our disease. I can't talk about it to people because I get very emotional about it. So for me, writing is a way to express how I feel.
Do you write a lot otherwise, or is this new for you?
I started writing this year because I was in a very dark place with the disease, and it was my way of learning how to cope. Even though I've had it for so long, it's still, I go through a denial stage, and I have to accept it again, and that grieving process. So I started writing as a way of accepting my disease all over again.
Yeah, the piece you shared in the beginning is how I feel when I'm in a phase of acceptance. I thought that was very powerful, and I feel like it, it shows that you're very thoughtful about your experience, even if it can't be that feeling every moment of every day.
So I journal more, and we talk about, I do a few support groups for Miles for Migraine, and we talk about journaling a lot. So journaling can be long, I guess, writing pieces like this, but journaling for me is a lot of like short little thoughts, I guess. And so for this today was different for me because it's more about writing. And so I was getting myself in the thought process of writing. And the first piece that I did was more, it was me talking to my migraine back and forth. So that's why I didn't read mine, because it was more like me saying something to my migraine, then my migraine saying something back to me, then me. So that was my first writing piece.
Katie, would you be willing to share that? Because that sounds amazing.
I don't know. It's so different from what you guys did.
No, but that's
weird.
See, the prompts are a jumping off point. They're not the end all be all.
I know. I'm just, so I guess, I'm trying to think more like writing like you guys are doing. Mine was more like,
No, I love that. That was kind of like the silly text message I put, like,
kind of. You're right.
But there's a place for that as well. Like, it doesn't always have to be a rhyming poem or something. Anyway, if you don't want to share now, that's fine, but I want to read that at some point, so please.
I can't even remember what I wrote. It was something with my daughter and I are going away to Florida for Thanksgiving. So I said, it was me. Hey, migraine. Hey, migraine. I'm in charge today. And my migraine said, that's what you think. And I said, me. Nope, that's what I know. It's a big day for me. I prepared ahead of time, and I've got this. I have my abortives. I have my medication, and I'm going to crush this day. My daughter and I are headed to Florida for Thanksgiving today, and you will not ruin this plane ride or this week. Migraine, I will do whatever I can to ruin it for you. Me, please try, but I've got everything covered. My doctor and I have a good plan set. My migraine toolbox is packed, and I wish you luck. Migraine, watch out for the sun. I said, watch out for the sun, it will get you. And I said, I have my shades. Migraine, watch out for the flight. I said, I have my special earplugs and a lot of water. Migraine, watch out for the noise at the hotel. I said, we booked an Airbnb. Migraine, watch out for eating out and all the bad food. Again, I said, we have an Airbnb so I can cook all my healthy meals. Me, you're not keeping me locked in my house again, migraine. And migraine said, turkey. So anyway.
That's great, Katie.
That was
I love
my
it.
first dumb writing assignment.
Katie, think about it. Think about someone who's reading that, who's never experienced migraine before, and how much information they get about it, but it's not like I think sometimes we can be so emotional about our migraines, and it can be hard to describe it to someone in a way that maybe they're even interested. But I mean, that was an interesting piece of writing on top of being descriptive of the experience. So
Right.
yeah.
I was trying to make it funny, even though, of course, I hate it so much.
I was
Yeah,
just gonna say that I like the humor in it. That was like my favorite part is it's like, you can't laugh at it, you'll cry at it, you know? So like having a little like humoristic twist on it was good.
Yeah, thanks. Anyway, I try to be funny in everything I do, but you know, some days all you can do is cry. But anyway, but what I was saying is so I have a lot of journals, and my journal is, I have an everyday journal where it's I do 3 positive things in the morning, 3 at night. And so this is awesome because maybe I'll try to add in some writing pieces too, because one of my goals, I think, for next year is to try to start blogging for Miles for Migraine, maybe, or, you know, something. Yeah. So I'll try to look up this blog piece you have and how to actually start blogging and do that.
that would be wonderful.
Yeah. So thank you so much. This was great.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I started volunteering for Miles for Migraine this year, and I wish that it had been here when I was in like the worst times of my migraine life. But I'm so happy to be able to give the, be part of giving back. So, Allison, I see you're unmuted. Did you want to share something?
Sure. I was just gonna say that I found this very like therapeutic and interesting, and I don't think of myself as a creative person, so to speak. But I did for the second thing, I did the second prompt, and I live in Michigan, and so I thought of it as before I can even get in the vehicle, like it snowed and I had to clear off all the snow. So like all the things I go through just to get to
Yeah.
that point. And so I haven't even ridden in the car yet with my symptoms, but everything that I have to do to lead up to it. And that's as far as I got in the 10 minutes. But it was just interesting how my mind took me down that route.
Yeah.
And I described basically going outside, seeing all the snow, having to clean it off, pushing the snow. I can now I got a layer of ice, and like I just described different things that are like setbacks to me. And then in my mind, like as a metaphor, I guess I was thinking of kind of my abortives and all my medication. Like I have to have that ready because what I did the first time didn't work. So that's kind of how I was thinking about it. It was just interesting.
Yeah, that's really relatable, I think, to anyone. I'm in Boston, so it's not quite as snowy as Michigan, but it's almost as bad. But anyone who's had to deal with any kind of prep like that, even if they haven't had to deal with a migraine ever, that's a relatable way to describe it. I love that. I'm going to think about that literally every time I clean off my car. So.
Well, that's how I felt, because then I'm like, okay, now I can get in the car and got it cleaned off, but I don't even feel like doing anything at this point.
At this point, might as well just go back inside.
Exactly. And that's how I feel a lot. So that's kind of where it went.
I put my email in the chat, but it's just lisamigraine@gmail.com. And if you do share, if you remember, you can just put like Miles for Migraine writing workshop in the email subject or something, but I'll open it even if that doesn't come up. And this is even for if you're watching this on YouTube 10 years from now, like I expect to still have that email address. So share with me anytime. Yeah, anyone else have any thoughts? I don't want to be mean and calling people I haven't heard from.
I just want to make a quick call out. There is a survey in the chat, so please fill it out before the end of the call. Or you could click on the link now for it could be saved on your browser and then fill it out after.
You're welcome, Christy. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. You did a great job. This was really, really fun.
You all are
Thank you.
easy. I didn't know you'd make me cry.
Yeah, everyone did a great job, not just Lisa.
Yeah, really, everyone did a phenomenal job. Yeah, we still have a few minutes if anyone has any questions or comments.
And this is a wonderful volunteer team that we have. Dina's part of our volunteer social media or social events team. So if anybody wants to join this team, you're welcome to. We're always looking for volunteers, but it's a lot of fun. And we have our Jingle Mingle coming up in December. What is it? It's 12/12/21. All the ones and twos. When I was writing it down, I'm like 12/12/21. Oh, 1/2/1/2/2/1 or whatever. And yeah, if anybody wants to do the prompt that Dina was talking about, that's a lot of fun too. So hopefully we can get a bunch of words out there for coming up for Giving Tuesday. Photos with our little things. I think Sarah's the one out there on our social media page right now, holding up her sign.
Thanks.
There's two. I think there's another one too.
Oh yeah, there is. I didn't know who that was, but
Kelly, good night and feel better.
yeah,
Kelly's
Kelly.
feeling- It's time for her EKG.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Kelly,
feel
have a
better.
good night. But Dina.
Thank you. I appreciate the well wishes.
Mhm.
Night.
Good night.